Hey guys, so today I was just grabbing the palettes. I have my Pan That eyeshadow, sorry I forgot the name, Pan That eyeshadow update. I cannot remember what update we're on, but I do have a couple of exciting updates. Well, they're not exciting, I guess. We'll see. I'm not going to ramble too much on this intro. I'm just going to get straight into updating you on the progress. So I am just going to go down the list, and the first one is the Take Me Back to Brazil, and we did have a orangey shade which is here. I will insert close-up, so I'm not gonna show too long, but I have used this month. I have only used it 3 times. I think I'm just getting sick of it, to be honest, and the progress is so minimal. I've used other mattes in here and they didn't take me crazy long to hit pan, but for some reason this shade is just not having it. Like it's not having it. I have used this for a total of 16 times since the beginning. I think this is the 3rd or 4th month that I've had this shade in, and since I have hit that 15 mark, I am just going to roll this out. I would probably keep it in if it was summer, and I know we're getting to spring, but I just don't see myself wearing this a crazy amount, so I'm definitely just going to take this out. Next up is the Jouer Tan Lines palette. I really like this palette, but I don't think it performs as well as I would have hoped. It was my first ever high-end palette that I bought, and for that I think I was expecting a bit more. I think if this was a bit cheaper, I'd say it's definitely worth it, but I don't know, because also I know you pay for the brand, and I like having a Jouer brand, I must say. It's just one of those aesthetic brands. I mean, I've completely ruined the palette, but when I bought it, it looked really pretty, and then I used it once and I was just like, yeah. So I'm gonna go over, oh gosh, I've been showing you the, spoiler alert, I've been showing you the palette. I'll try and cut it if I can. So I'm just going to cover that shade. So we'll go with Tankini first. I have used this 17 times. So this is going to roll out. I will do a swatch. It is going to roll out just because I have used it that 17 times, and it's honestly not my favourite. I think you have to really pack it on, but then it does get a little, I mean, you can even see it now, like there's little chunks, and it just doesn't look the most flattering on. So I don't love it, to be honest. I don't love this shade, but luckily I didn't buy this palette for that shade. So I went to all the trouble of hiding it, and now just like, anyway, we are just going to go on to Driftwood next. So I've been showing it anyway, but I haven't hit pan in this, and I have used Driftwood 15 times, and again I'm gonna roll this one out as well. This is why I said it was what did I say, exciting update. It's not, because I haven't hit pan, but I am rolling some stuff out which excites me. I feel like it's more of a refresh than anything. God, we've got the hard pan again. This shade, you do only have to use it once or twice before you get the hard pan. That's why it's not swatching the best, just because it does have that hard pan. It's that shade at the top. I do really like it. I used it as I said I would. I don't think I've got pictures, honestly. I'm rubbish. If I do, I'll put them on, but I don't think I do. I actually use these together a couple of times, and I do really like this shade, and I liked it with that, but I feel a bit burnt out with this shade now. Browns bore me, so I'm happy to have hit the 15, and I'm happy to let this go. Next up is Bang Beauty. This, I don't know how long this has been in. I feel like it's 3 months, because I think last month I did mess up on my tally, and I've used this 13 times. So there is quite a big dip in it now, actually. I will do a swatch. I'll swatch this on the other hand, because this one is going to stay, and I actually think this one is probably going to stay until I hit pan, just because it's such an easy to use shade, but also it has quite a bit of kickback when you dip into the pan. So I think it's going to be relative. Like, I've not used this a crazy amount, and I do have a fair bit of pan, and I also don't use a crazy amount of this, so I'm pretty happy to have pan. Like, I might actually try this just because it is quite an orangey peachy shade. I might give this a go all over the lid, or I might actually play with a couple of them shades in here because they're all quite similar. I haven't really played with this palette, to be honest. I've literally used the bone shade and then the shade that I'm panning. But yeah, I might try and sort of incorporate some of them other shades, and I'm definitely going to keep this until I've hit pan. I know I only need to use it 2 more times, but I want pan in this, and I think pan is achievable here without me getting too bored. I don't think it will take me too much longer. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Next up is my, who's this by? Profusion. It's the Spectrum palette, and I'm panning the shade Lucky. It's just a green shade, and I've used this 8 times, 3 times this month, but 8 times total. It does have like, I was just like swatching it and it felt gritty. I don't really know what that's about. I have got this on all over my lid today, and then I've just sort of deepened it with some other greens from the Brazil palette. I have just sort of mushed it a little bit with my swatch, but I said this in my last video, and I think I'm going to stick with it, but I think I'm going to keep this in until I've panned it. I mean, I'm nowhere near my 15. Well, am I? No, I've got 8, so I guess I'm close, but I think I've made a fair bit of progress in that time, so I'm happy to keep this in just till I hit pan. I kind of like to do that with newer palettes that I'm excited about, because I'm curious how deep these pans are, all that kind of thing. Oh, I did swatch it. It's a really pretty colour. It's actually, I think I mentioned in the last video that I thought it was a bit patchy when I put it all over my lid, and I do think this shade does need to be worn with other shades to sort of deepen and cover up any of those patchy bits. It needs to be worked with quite a bit. Like, it's not just a throw on and go kind of shade, which is fine, but I do really like it, and it's really vibrant and pretty, and I love wearing green, so I'm always going to be happy to pan a green shade. So that's everything for the updates. I am now going to roll in 3 new shades. Okay, so I'm back with the palettes. It's actually only 2 more palettes because 2 of the shades were from the same palette, and we actually did get, so I did roll in Driftwood and then I re-rolled it, but we did actually also get another, I swear I've had this shade in here before. It's from the NYX Warm Neutrals, the Ultimate Shadow Palette in Warm Neutrals, and it's shade 12, which is this reddy shade. I think I have had this in before, I swear. I think this was sort of one of the earlier shades when I first started the project. And I'm happy to have it again, work on it a little bit more. I do doubt that I'm going to hit pan, to be honest. I think I'm just going to get to 15 uses, but I'm happy to just keep having this in, having a go with it, and then rolling it out. So it is this red shade here. The starting point is pretty flat. It's not got too much of a dip. I have swatched it. I do really like these shades. I think it's a really good palette. I must say it's not my favorite palette. It doesn't bring me too much sort of inspiration for looks or anything, just because it is kind of just neutrals, and I'm in a point now where, because I'm not really, I work from home at the minute, if I'm doing my makeup I want something fun, so I've not really been reaching for these kind of palettes too much recently, but I'm happy to pan it. I'm happy to get some more use out of it and hopefully dig into a couple of these other shades and try. I can't do neutral eyes very well, so hopefully I'll start. The next palette that I have 2 shades from is the I Heart Rubber Pooches. I haven't actually looked at these. I hope I don't have pan in them. But this is by I Heart Revolution. It's the Rubber Pooches. I got it for the packaging. I have sort of scuffed it up a little bit, but it's so cute. So the first shade is Cocoa. Oh, okay, let's It's an interesting shade. Oh gosh, I forgot how nice these shadows are. Oh, okay. It's a grey. So that's the swatch of it. It's just a straight grey. It's right there. It's in the shade Cocoa, which I swear is a name of one of the dogs. I swear. I don't know. I swear it was. It did have it all on the packaging, on the website or something. So, a grey. It's a pretty grey. We'll have to see. I have been wanting to experiment with cool tones, so I guess now is my chance. And I do also have this shade down here, Bruno. I feel like that could. I'll swatch this on this hand, just because I feel like that could look really pretty. So it's just like a, just like a gunmetal sort of colour. Ooh, they could go really nicely together. Oh gosh, now I want to take my makeup off and do it again. I always do that when I do these videos. I also have a bone shade in here, and I love having palettes with a bone shade. I've made such a mess in this palette. Like that's me. There's like kickback from the other shades in certain shades, which is annoying. But that's just, I guess that's just what you get when you have a shade with a lot of kickback. Anyway. The next shade in here is called Biscuit. It's very similar to Driftwood, actually. It's right here. Except this is substantially more pigmented and substantially cheaper. So yeah, that's the shade Biscuit. I quite like these sort of warm-ish browns. They're just really easy to use. I'm pretty happy with these shades. I'm gonna set some goals for next month. So I think a goal I'm actually gonna have is I'm gonna try and hit pan in this shade here. I think it should be doable with good use, and I'm gonna try and use this all over the lid a couple of times. I want to use everything, but I think I'm going to give myself a goal of using this shade 5 times, just for next month. I mean, obviously I can do more, but I want to try and use it at least 5 times, and I want to try it with that Bruno shade, because I think that could be really, really pretty. I really want to experiment with cool tones, and I have a cool tone shade in this project, so it feels like now is the time. So yeah. So I'm happy with the progress. I'm happy with the new shades. I think they're challenging, but they're intriguing, which I think is like the sweet spot. Yeah, I think the only one I'm iffy on is that red, but then I'm happy to have it, but I rolled it out last time with only using it 15 times, and I've barely made a dent. So it'll be interesting to see what I can do now, especially because we are going to be going into spring soon, so I definitely think it's not going to be my go-to shade, but we'll see. I don't think any of these could really pair together except like them 3. Those 3 could pair together just because they're sort of neutral tones, and then the green and the grey. I don't think they would particularly go together. So yeah, that's everything for the video. Sorry, I always ramble at the end of these videos. But that's everything. That's everything for this video. That's everything for this update. Let me know if you guys have any ideas for colour combinations, anything like that. I'm happy to hear them. And I, again, apologise. I don't have any pictures, but I do have update pictures. I'm always on with the update pictures. So any pictures I do have, I would have put them up, but I don't think there's many. I'm also going to set that as a goal. I wouldn't reach it because I always forget. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.